Satnam. Rachmani, sing some more, okay?
Oh, sure. Baba Siri Chand. 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 Baba Siri Chand.
Thank you, dear.
My pleasure.
That was delightful.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
I sing
Do you remember when we were waiting, when we would be gathered and waiting for the Siri Singh Sahib to come, how we would
Madam Diane.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that reminded me of it.
Yes,
it
helps.
Fun. Thank you.
Yes, it warms up the energy, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Mm-hmm. Okay, Satnam, I heard Madam Diane is on here.
Yes, aloha.
Aloha, how are you?
I'm doing great. How about you? Happy New Year.
Good. And who is that? Somebody else said that they were here?
Sadanam's here.
Oh, Sadanam. I'm so glad you're here. I was missing you. I'm so glad.
Yeah, I flew out of bed this morning. I go, oh, something got me up.
Nothing tickled you? Good, I'm glad. And who else is here?
Guru Ravi.
Guru Ravi, welcome.
Yes, thank you.
Welcome. And has Hargo been here? Who else is here?
Oh, hi, it's Debbie.
Debbie. Welcome, Debbie.
Good morning.
Welcome. And who is that? There's a man here.
Cito from Odessa.
Would you spell your name, please, dear?
It's C as in cat, I-R-O, Cito.
Cito, glad to know you. You must know Guru Ravi.
Yes.
Wonderful. And do you know Tina?
No, I do not know Tina.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you. She also lives in Odessa.
Okay, so I probably do know her. I just don't remember her.
She has 2 little boys. Well, anyway, you might meet her someday. Glad to have you. And who else is here?
Ranjit.
Hi, Ranjit. How you doing?
Hi, Ranjit. Hey, hi, Guru Ravi.
Those are siblings. Those are sisters, in case you all wanted to know. Isn't that fun? And who else? Who else is here?
Hadi Munder.
Hi, Hadi Munder from Juneau. How are you this morning?
Doing all right.
Good. I'm glad. My goodness, what time is it there for you?
8 in the morning.
8. Okay. Good. Okay, who else is here? Huh?
Lucinda's here.
Oh, Lucinda. Welcome, Lucinda. I'm so glad you're with us.
Thank you.
Hi, Lucinda.
Yes. And who else is here?
Munder.
They're friends. Lucinda and Hadi Munder are good friends. And who else is here?
Guru Atma.
Hi, Guru Atma. How are you?
Good.
Good. Our LA contingent is showing up.
There we go.
And who else is here?
Carol is here.
Oh, hi, Carol. Oh, good. The Juneau contingent is here.
Yes.
And who else is here? Anybody else? Oh, let's find out who just joined us. Who was that?
Hi, Lisa Wagner.
Hi, Lisa. Where are you from?
Encino, California.
Encino.
Oh, you're not far from me.
Oh, great. Thank you for allowing me to join you.
Oh, our pleasure, dear. Where is Encino in relationship to L.A.?
It's the southernmost part of the San Fernando Valley.
Oh, okay.
And
gotcha.
You may know Lucy. She invited me to join your group
good.
for the day?
Fabulous.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And and it seems as though there are a few more who just joined. Who are you?
Okay.
Hi, this is Kathy.
Who?
This is Kathy in Alaska.
Kathleen from Alaska. Welcome.
Kathy,
Are you from Juneau?
Yes.
Good. You're here in force, the Juneauites. And who else is here? Who else just came on? There were a bunch of you all at once.
Suzanne from Dallas.
Oh, hi. How are you,
Hi.
Suzanne?
You're good. Thank you.
Another Texan.
Yep.
Good. And who else? Okay. Guru Ravi, are you from near Dallas now?
Yes, I'm in Dallas. Well, right outside of Dallas.
Well, maybe you and Suzanne would like to get to know each other.
I would love that.
I would like that. Okay.
Okay. So, well, you're both on the Facebook page.
I'll connect with you. Well, I'm not near a computer for another week. But when I get back in town, I will do that, Guru Ravi.
Oh, thank you. That would be awesome.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear it. Okay, the tribe is getting together. Okay, so now we are going to tune in. Okay, so please sit straight.
Satnam.
Satnam. Sit straight, long, deep breathing. That's it. Long, deep breathing. Palms are together. If you can, managing your phone. Attention at the brow point. Just relax and just hold at the brow point. Relaxing and realizing where you're going as you tune in. You are going to the infinity as it relates to the earth. And inhale, please. Om Namo Gurudev Namo Om Namo Gurudev Namo Om Namo Gurudev Namo Agare Name Jugagare Name Agare Name Jugagare Name Long deep breath. That's it. Breathing from the belly, very slowly, and through the nose. From the belly, through the nose. Slow, steady, not holding your breath. Feel that beautiful cycle. It's the breath that moves the prana. Good. Now keep that up and add to that you feel as though you are exhaling from the heart center in the middle of your chest. Only exhaling through the heart center. Inhaling is normal. Keeping up heart breath. Really allow your heart to open. Feel the presence of your own heart. Feel how sweet it is, how beautiful it is. Now, please send this beautiful energy that is coming out of your heart. In fact, you are moving healing heart breath energy out of your heart and send it to each one. Each one in this group, whether we're on the call right now or whether a person will be listening to the recording in the future, please send it to one another, and then also at the same time receive that delicious energy from each one. Good. And feel that energetic association, whether you see it as ties or whether you see it as a beautiful sun, of which we are all a generative part. Feel it growing. Feel the kindness. Feel the love. Feel the non-judgment. Good. And keep that up. And please continue to send this beautiful heart breath, this healing heart breath. Our first intention is to the sister and the niece of the two sisters here on the phone, to Sarah Shakti and to Metta. Please send your beautiful heart breath. Metta, a beautiful young woman, was in a very, very difficult car accident several months ago, and she has still not recuperated, which is very difficult on everyone. So please keep up your heart breath. Angels are back. Let them be uplifted by these beautiful angels. To allow them to be able to flow through this experience. And now please continue to send your healing breath for the good of all. For the good of all, which may include helping to elevate this gun debate in this country, and also helping to ease Syria. Good. Now just keep up your heart breath. Excuse me. Baba Siri Chand is here. And he is holding each one. He is holding each one. If you have ever seen that, how can I say, in New Mexico, the Native Americans, the Pueblo Indians around here, beautiful artists, will often create this sculpture, clay sculpture, and it's called the Storyteller. And it's of a woman, and her mouth is in a circle because she's telling a story. And then there are all these little ones all attached to her, all the children that she's telling this story to. Baba Siri Chand says this, he calls her the warrior of the breath. Okay? In this, he's not so much talking about telling a tale to entertain. He is talking about providing pure heart breath. Now, I know in heart breath we inhale and exhale physically through the nose. He says, but you can't see whether... He says you can't really represent that very well on a sculpture. So the open mouth is representing doing heart breath. He says, don't forget who you are. He says, you are a conscious being. He says, there are no ifs, ands, or buts about that. He says, you are neither above one another nor below one another. He says, the crisis time is just sort of nudging itself. It's like in the springtime when the animals begin to come out of their hibernation in the earth. It's just what is there. He says, so my dears, he says, do not ever believe that you are excuse me, that you are so wrapped up in sorrow, that you are overcome by difficulty, that you are hurt beyond measure. He says that would only impede you. That would become a straitjacket to you. He says, do you know what I mean? He says, I am here. He says, I am the protector, you are the protector. He says, you must step forward and drop the shroud that you think that you are a victim, that you cannot be a leader, that you must hide. He says that is not the condition of anybody on this call. He says, you have wandered. He says, you have wandered into this healing lust on your own. He says, by your own proclivity, by your own being drawn to it, because it speaks to your heart. He says, there's no other place for you. He says, if you try to disappear under the cloak of fear, he says, you surely will be ripped in half or more. Keep up the breath. He says, if you find yourself quaking right now because this is bringing up fear, He says, do the heart breath and let it go so that you may come to pure neutrality. Pure neutrality. He says, you know what lives in pure neutrality? He says, soul lives there. I live there. He says, all of the saints and the angels live in this pure neutrality. So he says, instead of pulling this cloak of fear over you, he says, boldly step forward into the sanctum sanctorium of neutrality. You may know it as shunya. He says, this is not numbness. He says, it is a place, a dimension, which you allow yourself to arrive in. He says, please do it now. Do your heart breath. Feel your heart. And allow your own connection, your own soul to come forward. He says it doesn't happen when you are tight, when you are worried, when you are fearful. He says that blocks it. He says this is the reason for heart breath. Keep up the heart breath. He says cut down on the fears, the worries, the thoughts. Relax yourself. He says, whoever thought that you could move into sanctity by relaxing your mind? He says, but that's what it's all about. He says, do it now. He says, and in this condition, he says, you know who you are? He says, you are the God, you are the soul, you are the totality, very kindly, very calmly, living very down to earth and very cozily. He says, that's who you are. He says, can you feel that now? He says, it is a dimension. He says, and from the space of your own center, from your own heart throb, he says you allow the thoughts, excuse me, you allow the thoughts, you allow the feelings to come from that space of sanctity. He says you've always heard that your body is a temple of your soul. He says this is it. He says you, in who you are the cathedral. You are the cathedral of the soul of the God that you worship that is enthroned within. Understand that. Know that. Feel that at this very moment. He says, and just as generations have flown to the throne of the king or the queen to listen to their wise direction, he says, which hasn't always been wise. He says, but in this case, this is super wise. He says, listen to that sacredness. Feel that sacredness. He says, that is your own true self. That is your God self, enthroned in this beautiful cathedral. He says, listen now. Listen now. Feel now. Whether you feel, hear, see. He says, now is the time. There is a message for you, he says, to show your identity of who you are in this time of rapid change. Listen, 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 feel, see, whatever it is. Allow the information. And when you have that information, he says, please write it down. Please write it down. He says, this is your own blessed teacher. This is your own true truth. most personal, most sacred. Could be a song or a joke. Could be a few words. It could be reams and reams of material. Write it down. He says the blessing is yours. Accept the blessing. He says, now, know that truth within your own heart. Know it. Accept it. Accept it most kindly, most gratefully. Accept that truth. And he says, let that truth seep into every bit of your body, into every molecule of your body, of your consciousness. Let that truth seep into every bit of you to nourish you, to fortify you. He says to plump up your cells with great love and confidence. Let that be your consciousness. That is your consciousness. He says, now, he says, you may enjoy living in this consciousness, which carries you to expansion, carries you far beyond who you thought you were. He says, allow this consciousness to teach the smaller consciousness of who you thought you were. Let the smaller consciousness receive, like a sweet kindergartner. Let it be taught. Let it be taught. Let the cynic in you be taught. Let it be shown. Let it be led. Allow the humility, the kindness, the openness of the kindergartner. Or he calls it, or of the rancid observer. Let its eyes, ears, nose and throat, he says, let it open. Let it open and receive the teaching that comes from that most down-to-earth, most cozy Almighty. Just trust it. It is pure love. It is pure compassion and pure wisdom. Let the disbelieving self, the scared self, the part that it feels is unevolved, that is too small and doesn't believe, let it be taught. Let it receive this nourishment. This is the presence of who you are. Let it be accepted. And now let the kindergartner, let it merge. Let it merge into Mother's arms. Let it merge into Mother's arms, into the coziness of the wisdom, of the sanctity. Just let it be held and cared for. Let it be held and cared for. feel the kindness, the pleasure of it. As you do, allow this condition of what has been the kindergartner, let it grow, let it metamorphose, just as a caterpillar would in a cocoon of the mother's love, in the cocoon of total intimate coziness. When we say that God is love, we are not talking about an outside experience. We are talking about the most cozy, connected, amazingly sweet and nourishing experience. Let the small and abandoned the one of disbelief, let it be transformed by this mother's love of coziness. Keep up the breath. And let this experience move about in every bit of your consciousness, every bit of your knowing, every bit of your body, every bit of your breath, every molecule. Good. Now, please know who you are. Know who you are. Let the kindness evaporate your worry. Let the knowing to the point of even no question. Pure acceptance of your metamorphosis. Let this be the time of the butterfly coming out of its cocoon, moving out of its cocoon with its own transformation. Allow your exquisite wings unfurl to the sun, knowing who you are, growing, letting go of any shakiness. Keep up your heart breath, please. Keep up the knowing. The feeling, the presence, the beauty. It says, now know it entirely. Is a full explosion within your whole body, your own consciousness. He says, when you do that, do you see the amalgam of the unfurled, opened, everyday self as the God, the soul, living as you. Living as you in total coziness, expansion, with no question of fear. No question of reluctance to accept its own identity. Your true identity. Your Sat Nam. Keep up the breath. He says the pleasure and the presence is yours. You are fully rooted. All of your energy is rooted and anchored right down to the center of Mother Earth. Adi Shakti, the creatrix, of all that exists. Feel yourself expanded and present. Keep up the breath. And now, when you look around, this is who you are, and when you look around and you see what appears to be, or would have appeared to be chaos, do not get lost in it. Do not let your mind wander. Do not let your being, your consciousness wander. You are the center. You are the sun. You have the truth and the perfection, the coziness. It is moving through you. You embody the wisdom, and the wisdom flows from you. He says, this, my dear ones, is what it is meant to be leaders in this new age. He says, do not let your old idea from the old culture, he says, do not let that idea of leader, of one being above and the others being below, do not let that impede on your consciousness. That is not what is meant by being a leader in this new age. Being a leader in this new age is more like being the sun, the radiant wisdom, the calmness, the flow, through which others warm themselves at the fire of this coziness. That they know that it's possible to relax and to allow the same coziness to catch them, to hold them within their own self. This is what is meant by your leadership role in this new age. He says you may or may not be creating orphanages. You may or you may not be cooking meals for thousands. You may or may not be wiping tears. He says, but the only hope is to exude this kindness, to be in this place of totality, of non-separation. Non-separation. As the old culture appears to become ripped from us, we live in this new culture of the soul, this pure and pithy culture of the soul, which exudes from each one, and it lights the fire of coziness, of calm, of wisdom within others who are ready to feel it, who are ready to open to it. He says, do you understand this? Do you understand this? He says, now, please, he says, again, he would like you to add a few notes to what you have already written, to your consciousness, your realization of who you are as leaders, as constant glowing bursts of sunlight in this new time. Just make a few notes. Good. And by the way, he says, please keep up the heart breath all the time. He says, doesn't matter what you're doing. He says you can be cooking dinner, washing the toilet. He says you can be making love. You can be laughing, watching the TV. You can be crying your eyes out. Stay in heart breath. Stay at your center in the presence of your own cathedral. Good. He says, now is the time for you to share. As you share, you profess your own experience. You make it clear. Others hear you, and it becomes more real to both of you, to all of us. Okay, my dears, he says, who is running forward first to share?
Siri Gian?
Yes.
Rahmane here.
Yes, dear.
You remember in the early 70s that Yogiji used to ask us to chant, I am the grace of God.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, we used to do that a lot.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah,
Well.
and so I got all these different verses, different words. I am the flow of God. I am the glow of God. I am the hope of God. I am the love of God. I am the prayer of God. I am the muse of God. I am the nod of God. And on and on. It's endless.
How delightful.
Mm-hmm.
How delightful. That's wonderful. We can all sing that in our own hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's very similar to God and me. Me and God are one.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay, thank you so much for that new meditation, dear. We can all do it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay, who else can share?
I'd like to share.
Mm-hmm. Who's
my
it?
name is Lisa, and
Yes.
I'm new to the group. And
good.
I just want to say I'm aware of the feeling of great gratitude in my heart, and remembering that I hold the energy of oneness in my heart and unity consciousness, that we're all one, and how to remain connected, the eye of the storm. And so I'm very aware of our hearts are all linked.
Eye of the storm is excellent description.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
On.
And my heart feels wide open and linked to all, and the love is flowing within my heart to everyone in the group and beyond that. So thank you for the activation and the remembering, with who I am. An invitation for that. Yeah, thank you.
And thank you for your sharing.
God
bless
welcome.
you, dear.
Thank you.
We love being part of the same heart.
Yes.
Now, who else can share?
Madame Diane is here.
Yes, dear.
Aloha. First of all,
Madame Diane, it
yes.
sounds like you're on speaker. Can you come closer to the phone?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay. As we were going into the child self, there was a sense of, not identifiable, but a kind of a feeling tone of some sadness, and I just held through. And the words that kept coming up a lot is instead of might or force, that leadership now is through compassion. And
wonderful.
And I asked, okay, so I know what my definition of compassion is: just remembering the humanity and embracing it without necessarily participating in that pain. It's like I know what it's like to be in the nightmare, but I'm awake. I'm not going to be in the nightmare with you, but I'm going to be. So there's a sense of humility towards our humanity is what I heard. And also, there's a tree right outside the window where I'm sitting right now. I'm in the new space where I'm working, and I kind of felt a little bit like the power through the might of a tree, where it's rooted and it gives refuge and steadiness and consistency, and it's embracing in humility. And so that's how I identify the idea of leadership, which is not something I'm scared of in the traditional form of the word, but I'm something that I'm aware of. Nothing. Nothing corrupts like power, and it in the old paradigm. And so I step back a lot because of that. I guess it's a fear or just awareness that it can be very distracting, and and pull you away from the true. I mean, I think the key word for me is humility. Finding it in myself and finding it in life. It's been very, very, very important. Mahalo.
Excellent. Yes, that word humility, that concept of humility, being at the heart of our leadership is so important. Absolutely. The humility, though, I want to say, of course, means neither being high nor low.
Right.
But it means being humble to your soul.
Right. And being aware of my participation in the universe, knowing that the oneness, the godness of everything is the major rhythm, and I dance with it. That's humility. I don't try to lead the dance. I follow and participate in it consciously.
There you go. Good.
And by the way, if I may, the person that spoke before, Lisa, she was invited by me. I live in her home right now. I'm her house assistant, and she was very interested, and this is why she got invited. And you can tell how lucky I am. Lucky Lucy strikes again, because I'm working for somebody without consciousness. Isn't that nice that I'm able to work with somebody without consciousness?
Oh, God bless. Isn't that wonderful?
Oh. And
as we let go and let God?
Yes. And you and the group and the heart breath, and of course Baba being my main wingman, Baba, and Guru Ramdas is the other one. I travel with a good gang. That's been very helpful getting to this place of being able to be my true self, completely comfortable in who I am.
Oh, fabulous!
Mahalo.
Wonderful.
I'll let somebody else speak now.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you, Mahalo.
Thank you.
If I may, I just want to interject quickly. I just want to say I am so incredibly grateful for this experience and to have Lucy with us and to be in this supportive energy. And it just shows that when you really surrender and you align to be shown, really beautiful, great things happen. And her path, what Lucy described, is very much humility and God through compassion. And those words really resonate. So I'm just very, very grateful. Thank you.
Oh, God bless. Yeah. We love to hear this association.
Yeah.
This is the tribe. This is the tribe of the heart.
Yes.
Bless you guys. This is good. Everybody take heart. This is possible.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, Sadanam, we haven't heard from you in a long time. Would you share with us?
Hi, yes. I'm kind of under the weather, so if I sound funny. During the process and the last couple of weeks, I've had these enlightened beings show up that I don't really even have an association with, and I'm seeing them.
Or you thought you didn't.
What? I thought
you didn't.
Well, I'm not actively pursuing a relationship.
Okay.
With them, so this is what came up for me today. And when you said know who you are, the thought came that it's the same energy, and a new way of receiving when came up for me, or maybe not a new way, but I was reminded of what to do. Of take that. I think I've described it before as the belt flow. It's another chakra that sits below the heart center, and it's that cosmic belt flow of energy. And if I receive everything through that, it's like instead of receiving personally, personal information from somebody else, and I guess you could just use the heart, also the heart center. If you receive that through the neutral heart, then you're not taken away with all the emotions and all the highs and lows, if you can stay in that neutral space.
Yes.
But also for me, how I experienced this cosmic belt flow. It is chaotic energy. It's the uncreated energy of the universe. And it always reminds me that, we want things to be calm and beautiful and peaceful and, but I think that comes out of a deep insecurity on our part to want it to be a certain way. And so if we can...
Very wonderful.
And so if we can dive into the actual chaotic, creative energy of the universe itself is chaos. It can't be controlled. It can't come out nice and pretty. But when it does, when it flows through you, that's when it comes out, maybe in peace or however that comes out. So it teaches us to step into that higher energy without a need to control it or define it and allow it to use us. So I was reminded of that.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And he says, yes, that is how leadership occurs. It occurs. You don't make it, but you imbibe it.
And also that thought that either the heart chakra or the space that I'm talking about, that is the cave. Because what came to me this morning also is the cave of the yogi.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Are you going to come out and join us?
I was, to tell you the truth, I was looking at it this morning. I got so overwhelmed by all that information and how to get there. So maybe I need to talk to you about it.
Oh, okay.
So.
Okay, because I feel that in that course, he's not going to give us so much information, but it's really going to be...
Take us there.
Deep, high meditation, which is where Amandeep always puts us. By the way, I'm talking about, there's a course, 2 courses by Amandeep coming up here in New Mexico in February. And one is called Yogi Mela, and then the one on the next weekend is Yogi's Cave, where we will be soaring on the vibratory current established by Yogi Bhajan here in Espanola. Okay, I didn't regard this as an invitation, not as an ad, okay? But come join us. But thank you so much, dear. We appreciate that.
Sure.
Now, who else can share?
Ranjit.
Oh, Ranjit, yes, please.
Hi. I wanted to thank you so much again for remembering Maida and my sister Sarab Shakti, because that means so much. So much time has gone by, and it's hard to remember all the time, but they really need it, and I'm so appreciative of that for them.
Of course.
The feelings that I got were pretty visual and intense. I had like a picture of Adi Shakti and the avatar, extensive and immense in such prodigious form, and just light coming out of me everywhere, and then everything was taken back in, and then it was like I came back into seated because I had gone up, into the ethers, and came back as humble and modest and diminutive in form, and had all of that strength and all of that light back into a compact form, and it was quite an experience. And it was good because when you talked about sitting fireside with people and being, just touching whoever is next to you or whatever area you're put into, to feel that you have all of that strength and all of that light is in your small form. I mean, we're not small, but in the form that we hold in our human form, to know that all fits inside of us. So how large we are, and yet, how humble and modest and small in form we are.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And yet you can still, this small form can still project that unlimited radiance.
Yes.
Good. Thank you so much, dear.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, we have about another minute. Who can share for that minute?
I think I can share again. It's Suzanne.
Yes,
I got amazingly sleepy. What is that? Not sleepy now, but
it's very high energy. When I'm in a healing session and there's extremely intense energy, it's all I can do to just hold on, try my best to stay awake.
Okay. Well,
but you don't have to stay awake. If you don't have a Healy sitting in front of you, you don't have to stay awake. It's okay.
Okay. Wow, that was an unusual thing. But I did hear clarity, and I resonate. I forget the lady's name from Hawaii. Well, actually, everyone is saying that. Yeah, I'm hearing the same thing, and it's what I heard or felt is having the ability to not enter into old patterns and seeing them way before you see them, like almost like they're obvious, or they're just obvious. And staying calm and just sending love, really important with heart breath. It's that neutrality, but what does neutrality look like in the real world? As the lady just said, fireside. Staying calm and recognizing the patterns and staying. It's the calmness that changes the vibration, probably. Because
it gives you access to the change, yes.
Okay, yeah. Okay, well, that's what I got.
And it works back and forth. Once you're in that dimension, you're calm. But you relax in order to get into that dimension.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I felt. I agree.
Good. Okay. Thank you so much, dear.
Thank you. Yeah.
We love that. Okay. So now, let's all sing this with one heart, our closing song. Okay? So just a few little heart breaths before we begin. And really feel it as one heart as you sing it to one another and receive from one another. And inhale. May the long time sun shine upon you, all around you, and the pure light within you guide your way on, guide your way on, guide your way on. Inhale. And bow to that beautiful sun, that coziness, the place of divinity that is infinite and who you are. Bless you all. Have a wonderful week, and we'll talk again next week.
Aloha.
Aloha. Goodbye.